So you didn't get to watch the game like obviously in full like.
Well, the first half we were out having brunch, and then the second half we came out and checked out the game. So
okay.
So I did miss the first half.
Yeah. Well,
I was just keeping up with it on my phone. It's just I was looking down at my phone, and it was like fumble after fumble. And Caleb, I think he threw an interception on the first half. I didn't even get to see it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be honest, I didn't even get to see the play. But I like how Caleb, you showed a video a minute ago that he, admitted that he didn't play good.
Yeah. He's accountable, and that's good to see. So it's like he's not running away from it, which is good to see. So, like I said, I viewed this game as the good, the bad, and the ugly. For me, the ugly, I'll talk about the ugly was more the weather. So we got there and that could have factored into the game.
Yeah.
And to the play of Caleb. So we got there at 8 a.m. We tailgated. It was fucking miserable. It was windy, cold, raining, and we bared it out there. We stood out there and got wet and drank beer and hung out and had some good food. So that was nice. Then by the time we walked into the stadium, the weather cleared up, so it was perfect. But yeah, I mean, the conditions weren't the greatest. That could have been affected in everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Caleb maybe just tried to do a little too much Sunday. I feel like the defense obviously handled their business. The run game was phenomenal. I want to look at it again. I think we rushed for 220 yards. Which, if you would have asked me that 3 weeks ago, if we could have rushed for that much, I would have thought you were crazy. Yeah, 222 rushing yards, 5.6 a clip with 2 touchdowns. Like I said, Caleb's QBR in this game, 19.5. We don't want to see it, but at the end of the day, we won. So, we won the game. That's all that matters. Before that, he has already shown that he can have a great game. He also showed that he can go through progression. So, I think it's just one of those things where Ben Johnson and him need to sit down this week, look through the tape, and Ben Johnson's probably telling him, hey, we can win games ugly.
Right.
We've already proven that. So as long as we're effective with running the football, be patient, take what the defense gives you, and the sky's the limit. And then, this week it might be a little harder when you're playing a team like the Ravens. But that's the thing. If we're playing a team like the Ravens and we're trying to keep up on the scoreboard with them, that's a little different. Then we have to make plays downfield. Right. But in this game, we were controlling the clock. We were controlling the game most of the time. The defense was making plays for us. So at that point, maybe we scale back on trying to make the big play and just take what the defense gives you. But no, other than that, the run game, like I said, was unbelievable. Monangai got a lot of work in this game. 81 rushes and 13 carries for the first touchdown of the season.
6.2 average.
I thought Loveland, from what I saw, being live there at the game, I got to see a lot. He's definitely become more involved. His numbers weren't huge, three catches for 24 yards, but he definitely had an impact in the game.
And in the blocking game, especially.
Absolutely. He was out there blocking. He ran a lot of routes. And
at least in the blocking,
exactly. So it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't the prettiest win, but like I said, at the end of the day, the defense balled out. Our run game got working. And like I said, Caleb was not his best game, but at the end of the day, we won. And I'm not worried about Caleb one bit, to be honest with you. I just think I rack it up to a bad game. And to be honest with you, I think we talked about this earlier. Not every quarterback comes in and balls out right away. It's very rare for that to happen, right? And I feel like when guys like Joe Burrow come into the league and dominate right away, people just feel like that's the way the game goes. But if you look at a lot of the superstar quarterbacks, it took them time. You even look at Josh Allen, it took him a couple of years, right? And no one was giving up on him. He was getting criticized, but once he got that first big star and things changed, and he's a superstar. So I wholly believe that Caleb can be that guy. It's obviously time will tell. But, I'm not going to harp too much on his bad game when we win games and, we have a lot of other positive things to talk about. So
one of the things that I noticed about Caleb in the second half, and it's a reoccurring trend that I've noticed, is when pressure converges in on him, he tends to run out of the pocket. And he does that where he runs to the sidelines and he's trying to – he's trying to play hero ball, as you constantly hear, where he's throwing an amazing sidearm throw 30, 40, 50 yards down the field. The problem with that is It's even in Sunday's game, like when the defender's all over the receiver, like on Rome, he's like forcing these drops on these guys when Caleb easily could have just rushed for 8, 10, 12 yards up the field, get the first down, and, you know, live to play another down. Yeah. You know, and those are the little things that, you know, people have been harping on, because he was doing them in USC, and the USC, you know, is not the same as, you know, in the NFL when he's facing a lot stiff competition. Yeah, that's a great point. I think, like, the NFL is a wake-up call, and you see a lot of those plays that he does make. The receiver's open for an instant, and he whips them in there. But again, at the end of the day, in college, the corners are not going to be able to get to the ball. But in the pros, it's a different story. They're all over them. Yeah, even a team like the Saints that don't have the best secondary, they're going to intercept that pass, especially when you stare down your first target. Because on that interception, you know, watching it live, you see the play happen really quick. You don't really get to see it. But I saw the replay, and he really did like stare into the eyes of Rome, and then the defender obviously picked it up. But again, at the end of the day, he cleaned it up. In the second half, he didn't make any, you know, ill-advised throws like that. Right. He did have 2 in the first half. So he had another one where we got lucky. He whipped the ball to DJ in the end zone. It bounced off a defender's helmet. But again, those things happen. And again, hopefully Ben Johnson, being the coach he is talking to him, and they're working on cleaning those things up. You know what? One thing I'm curious about actually is, you know, like obviously the Bears have been running the ball very effectively the last couple of games. And I had mentioned this in the podcast a couple weeks ago, that you had a lot of people downplaying the Bears' success against the Raiders, because they said the Raiders weren't a great defense. Right. And so they did it again last week against the Commanders. They ran the ball well again and effectively. So, you know, my thing is, you know, now you're probably going to hear a lot of people say, oh, yeah, they rushed for 200 yards, but it was against the Saints defense. So I'm actually curious, Ron, if there's any way you can find out. I'm wondering how other teams ran on the defense of the Saints this year, because, you know, that can dispel some of that hate, you know, because obviously if depending on how they were stuffing the run prior to the game, just very interested to see how much them being poor. Yeah, look, they're allowing 129 rushing yards per game, 24th in the league. So, you know, 24th isn't bad, but, you know, obviously if you factor in how much the Bears ran, that makes a big difference. Right. I think that the Bears' run offense is looking great, and I think it's very important to point out that that's how the success with the Lions comes. You know, you see all their successes predicated on Montgomery and Gibbs running the football. Yeah. And when they're able to run the football and establish the run, then Goff has been able to play action, pass, hit guys open down the field, and their offense is pretty unstoppable. So I feel like if we keep running the ball like this, I'm not too worried about Caleb. I think that we'll clean up these other things. And then again, especially if we're in a game where we have to throw the ball more and be more be more pass heavy, that Caleb can fix it. Yeah, but I mean, I'm really hoping that he can kind of figure out a little bit with the accuracy. Yeah, because you know that's going to take some time. Right. I think you know, if you look at most quarterbacks, their completion percentage starts a little low, in the low 60s, early high 50s, and then it builds up. Now, is that all on the quarterback? No, of course not. Right. But you know, once a quarterback and a receiver start building that chemistry, and he say, hey, you know what, throw the ball up here, don't throw it down here. It's, you know, it's harder for me to catch it on this route. You know, it's just little things like that. He needs to work on with all his weapons, because Caleb does have a lot of weapons. And I think there's never anything wrong with Ben Johnson simplifying it in the beginning again, because I think that's one thing that we've talked about, you know, you and I, Phil and I have talked about in the past, is that a lot of times they'll pre-script the first couple of drives for Caleb just to have easy completions, and a lot of times that does get the quarterback in a rhythm, and that can also improve the accuracy. Okay, yeah. You know? So, yeah, hopefully in the next game they'll have something like that set up. It's going to be interesting to see if Lamar Jackson's going to be playing or not. I think that's going to obviously be the big factor in the game itself and in the game plan. You know, I think if the Ravens somehow sit him out and they're worried about him re-aggravating the injury, that makes it more of a clock possession, run the ball,
and defend. And I think that if he does play, then you start to look more in, all right, bend but not break defense.
Right.
Don't give up the big play to Lamar, and then we're going to have to throw the ball. So
Who's the backup over there?
they were using they started with Cooper Rush, and then I think they went to Tyler Huntley, which, again, neither of them are even close to Lamar Jackson.
Not even.
No, I mean, it goes to show how big of a loss Lamar is.
Yeah, he's the entire team.
Right. And that's crazy, too, because, again, I don't mean to bring this up, but it just look at the Niners' record, and they're playing with their backup, Mac Jones, and they're winning games with the backup.
Right.
So, again, remember what I've said. Is Purdy worth $60 million? I don't know. Mac Jones comes in, and he revitalizes his career. Jimmy Garoppolo played there. He revitalized his career.
It's like they haven't missed a step.
So is it the coach and the players around him?
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying Purdy's bad. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not. You're not saying that.
Right,
you're just, is he worth $60 million?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Did he get? I think he may have gotten a little less, right?
He got up to maybe 55.
Hey, Rock, you pull up.
What's up?
Brock
Purdy. 5-year, 265. So yeah, like 53, 54 million a year.
Okay.
So that and
bring up Mac Jones's contract.
But that's the big thing though, man. That's the huge thing is that Caleb, 2 years, $7 million.
Okay.
They could have used that money on.
I don't know. Anything really.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. That's why we've talked about, Phil and I have talked about too, like the Bears next year is going to be their year that they're going to make the leap. Right? Yeah. Do you not agree?
Yeah.
This year was the year where, like, let's get into the playoff conversation. Next year has to be when they do it because Caleb's only going to have 2 more years after that, like, and then we got to make a decision, and you got to pay him 60, 70, 80 million by then a year. So it's just like you better have your team. You better have some team success prior to that. Otherwise, then you can't sign other people.
I mean, look at the Jaguars and and Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence. They paid him like with subpar performance so far in his career, but they were like, you know what, we invested too much in him. Here you go, we'll just sign you.
Yeah.
And how's it really turned out?
Yeah.
Not very good. Not very good. I mean. Sure, they beat the Chiefs, but that's pretty much it.
No, and
you were at that game.
I was at the game. Remember, I talked about that game after, and I was like, yeah, the Jaguars won, but it almost felt like I wasn't that impressed with Lawrence or the offense. And then, like, look, now they've had 2 weeks to show if that was a fluke, and they lost. They lost to Seattle, and they just lost to Carolina.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. It's very inconsistent right now.
Yeah. But yeah, so like let's switch to the defense. We talked about them briefly, but I mean, look at some of these numbers. I mean, they had 4 sacks, they had 4 takeaways. So
takeaways,
yeah, 4 takeaways. 3 interceptions, I believe, right? 3 interceptions and a fumble recovery, if I'm correct. Yeah, 1 fumble recovery by Javon Dexter.
Yeah,
and then we had the 3. That was on the fumble by Spencer Rattler. We knocked the ball out of his hand.
Yeah.
And then we had the 3 interceptions. The Nashawn Wright one was an amazing interception. The diving one he had.
Oh, that was nice.
And honestly, I've admit I've been not the biggest fan of Tremaine Edmonds and the signing, but he's played really well this year.
Yeah,
he's balled out.
Earned it.
Bring up Tremaine Edmonds' profile. He's done a good job. So here this week he had a sack.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. So, yeah, he had a sack, a tackle for loss, a pass defended, and a hit. 9 tackles total. And then this year, I think he's got 3 picks now.
Yeah.
And 3 picks, a sack.
Can you click on his profile?
30 tackles, which is tied for 24th in the league. 1 sack.
3
interceptions, tied for 3rd.
In the league.
Yeah, and then you can't, like I said, we talked about him earlier. You can't talk enough about Byard either.
Yeah.
Kevin Byard has looked
oh my gosh,
phenomenal.
Turn back the hands of time.
Yeah. 4 picks, 5 passes defended. Tied for 1st in picks.
Wow.
It's pretty good, man.
How old is he? 32.
32 years old. But again, that brings us to our next point is that the Bears, this isn't exactly a young team overall. It seems like it because a lot of the offensive parts are.
Yeah.
But Phil has brought this up many times. You have Byard in his 30s, Grady Jarrett's in his 30s, and we've been doing this with the defense really without him the last couple weeks too.
Right.
So you're going to add him at some point. Montez Sweat has actually played pretty well the last couple weeks. I know Phil, especially, and me both have been down on him of late.
Yeah.
But he's played well the last couple games. Robinson.
Dominic
Robinson made another sack this game. I'll pull him up real quick. I know he had a sack. I saw it.
High.
Yeah, I saw that during the game. So he's got 1.5. But yeah, I saw him. Pretty sure he got a sack. Oh no, apparently he didn't. He got a tackle for loss.
Okay.
And a QB hit. Yeah, he didn't get credited for the sack. Kyler Gordon got a sack. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll have to pull this up, Ron. And maybe you weren't watching. I think Brisker got another roughing the passer. Or was that Kyler Gordon? Here, go. I wonder if you could see the penalties. Pull it up. I'm trying to remember who got it. And I was just like, I better not be Brisker again, because he got 2 penalties last week, including the roughing the passer. Look at that, 10 penalties for 92 yards for the Bears again. So again,
we average like 10 penalties a fucking game.
And can we talk about Drew Dahlman? Like, I mean, he's great at pass protecting, but he's had his issues with run blocking. And my God, man, can we figure out snapping a football? Like, should that be that hard? Like, how many bad snaps did we have? We even went for it on 4th down once and fucked the snap up.
Yeah, he fucked the snap up. He didn't want to release the ball to Caleb, and he just
and then Caleb had to just fall on the ground.
Yeah, he just like fell.
Obviously, I didn't get to hear what happened or like any analysis of it.
Yeah,
I just saw all this. But the fans were getting really, really aggravated too.
Really, with Caleb's performance.
I don't think it's just Caleb. It's just the offense as a whole.
Yeah,
they got booed a couple times.
Yeah, well,
but they deserved it, and they deserve to get cheered when they do well, and they deserve to get booed when they do bad.
Yeah,
man, but the defense was just all over the place. You got to tip your cap to Dennis Allen. I mean, what he's done the last couple weeks with the defense.
Oh my God!
And again, we did get a couple of guys back in the lineup, which was huge. T.J. Edwards being one of them. Kyler Gordon. Obviously, we're still missing Jalen Johnson, but we got a couple guys back, and the defense has been humming the last couple weeks.
Here's what worries me. So when we face the Ravens coming up, let me ask you, when Dennis Allen doing as great as he is with these guys in creating turnovers, getting those takeaways, if you got a defense that finally wants to step up like the Ravens, because on paper they were supposed to be not like one of the best defenses. Obviously, they've taken a step back. They're 1-5, I believe, so their defense really hasn't shown up. But the last thing I want to see as a Bears fan is all of a sudden, oh shit, the Ravens defense finally showed up. So I'm just asking you this: if the Ravens slow down to stop or even stop the run, the defense isn't there to create takeaways against Lamar Jackson, because Lamar's really good with the football. He doesn't turn over the ball very much. Have you seen enough from Caleb Williams? Do you think he can lead this team and down to a victory with the defense not being able to create the takeaways? Yes.
I think we could.
I'm a little worried after the Saints' performance.
I think Caleb can play well. I think we can win. I think he can lead us to a comeback.
Right.
But I think it ties back to the first thing you said. It's predicated on us being able to run the football. I think if we're not able to run the football, and then we could be in deep trouble. Because if we don't run the football, then they're gonna send pressure. And Caleb has been struggling with pressure of late. So we need to get Caleb in a rhythm. We need to run the football. We need to get Caleb in a rhythm early.
Right.
I think if we do those things, I think that even if Baltimore's scoring on us, we can kind of go back and forth. If we struggle to run the ball early and we get too pass heavy, then the Ravens are going to bring pressure, and that's when things can get ugly or out of hand, So yeah, I mean, again, Phil and I keep saying it sounds very basic, but it's our ability to run the ball and our ability to stop the run.
Right.
Those are going to be the two biggest factors.
I was just looking up on CBS Sports. The spread right now is, what is the spread? Let me double check before I butcher it. They got the Bears at +6.5. I think that's a bit high.
Yeah, I mean, I think that tells you two things. It tells you, one, that Lamar's going to be back for sure. There's no way that line would be that if Lamar wasn't back.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think too that line's a little disrespectful. It's a little disrespectful
It's
because
disrespectful.
if we look at it this way, if being at home gives you 3 points advantage in a line, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you're telling everybody that if the game was in a neutral field, the Ravens would be favored by 3.5, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And if it was at Soldier Field, the Ravens would still be favored by 0.5 point.
Yeah.
Is that what that means essentially?
Essentially, yeah.
So
Rough.
So it tells me that they're not looking at the records, right? They're not looking at what's happened already in the past. So even though the Ravens are 1-5, the Bears are 4-2, they're looking at it as in overall, like they're looking at it as the Ravens, what the Ravens should be,
right,
and then what the Bears are. Which I think the Bears are. People know that the Bears are still a team that's still figuring things out, even though they're 4-2. Where the Ravens have played disappointing, and they feel like they're going to play their best game. And honestly, if as a Bears fan, I am a little worried about this week because, to your point, you got a hungry team over there. You got a team that's hungry for a win, that's disappointed in the season so far, and they're going to come out and they're going to try the hardest they can to win the game and save their season.
Right.
So the Bears need to come in there and be. I think they need to be way more, especially offensively, way more careful with the ball. We cannot be just slinging it and throwing it up against this team.
I mean, we're looking at some stats here on NFL.com.
Wow, it's very telling stats.
Points per game for the Bears, 25.3. They're 10th in the league. Ravens right now, I know Lamar's been out, but they dropped to 24 points a game, which is 16th. Right now,
the biggest thing though is the turnovers, man. Bears are a plus 11 turnover
that is
ratio,
number one in the NFL,
pressure, number one.
And where are the Ravens at?
Literally second to last, -7.
-7. So turnovers, takeaways, huge. This Sunday. I'm just worried that we're relying too much on the takeaways. I'm just like, what if it's like a straight up even game? I don't know, man.
No,
I'm a little worried. I am worried about
and look at how much their defense has struggled. They're 31st in the league in sacks with 8. And look, we're not, Phil and I have been harping on this all year that they have not been getting enough pressure. We're 24th with 12 sacks, which isn't great.
Right.
But look at the interceptions. Number 1 with 11 for the Bears, and then 29th with just 1 interception for the Ravens. So, again, it is scary because you look at this and you go, oh, we should be able to, run and throw all over this team. But, again, my biggest thing is I would just try to get the run game going.
Yeah.
Quick passes for Caleb, get his confidence level up in completing some passes, and then let's just see where the game goes.
Right.
If in the first quarter we build an early lead or something, keep running the ball. Don't worry about the stats. Keep playing the way you want to play, time of possession game. And if it somehow starts to get away from us, then we can change the game plan and throw the ball more. That's what I'm thinking. And that's the thing is, I think that I'm not 100% concerned about Caleb's accuracy yet because, like we said, it's still early. He's going to do it. But what I would like is for him to get to that level soon. The Lamar Jackson, the 72% completion.
Do you remember how he started?
Yeah,
he struggled mightily.
Yeah, he worked in his craft, and that's what we want. And Caleb definitely seems like a guy that watches tape and works on his craft. So, I think with the guidance of Ben Johnson, I'm confident that he'll figure it out. And I love seeing DeAndre Swift's numbers now, and they've come up so much from the first couple weeks.
Yeah.
Now he's averaging almost 5 yards a carry. Odunze is still having a great year because he started the year so well.
Yep.
I'm not worried about the dip. We've always talked about this.
Right.
This defensive coordinators will always make adjustments and try to take away your number one target.
Yep.
So another thing is concerning. So again, not only are they getting Lamar Jackson back, they still have Derrick Henry, right?
Yeah.
So we did actually, Ron can pull this up later in a little bit. Remember, another thing that the Bears weren't doing well early, they weren't running the ball and they weren't stopping the run.
Right.
So even against the Cowboys, I think Ron and I talked about it with Phil. When we played the Cowboys, we won, and the rushing yards were low for Dallas, but it was really because we took a big lead and Dallas kind of started getting away from the run.
Right.
But they still averaged a lot of yards against us per rush.
Right.
But the last couple weeks with Krosky Merritt, I think we stopped them to about 4 yards a carry and 120 rushing yards. And I'm pretty sure that we did pretty good against the Saints too. If you want to pull up the Saints game.
Well, here's the rushing here. No.
Right. It
Yeah,
is
so
what
see, they gave up 6 yards a carry. So even though they only gave up 121 against the Cowboys, they were still struggling per attempt. But I'm pretty sure against the Commanders, it went down to 4 yards a carry, 120 total yards rushing we gave up. Yeah, look at that, 31, 124 yards, 4 yards a carry, right?
Yeah.
And then I think against the Saints, pretty sure we held them under 100 yards rushing. So again, these are all just positive. Every week, little wins, right?
Right.
The defense has been getting better at stopping the run, getting pressure little by little, better each week. The offense has been doing better and better each week with running the ball. So those are key. You know,
I read online somewhere where talking about the receivers that Rome didn't have a good game on Sunday.
Okay.
I know everyone's like bashing on Caleb, and I get that, but Rome, for where he was drafted and his his ceiling, he didn't have a good game. But some people were suggesting maybe have Rome take a step back and emphasize a little bit more on DJ Moore.
yeah.
Because DJ is obviously the seasoned vet. 6-7 years in the league. How many years does DJ Moore have? 6,
No, he's
7 years, right?
This is like his 7th year, I believe.
Yeah.
I think that
I don't find it that bad of an idea.
Yeah. I think the emphasis should
Instead of doing
yeah.
all the gadget plays that DJ Moore's been doing all this whole year.
I think the emphasis should be more on, like I said, Caleb just getting the ball out of his hand, going through his progression out of the ball, and whoever's open, get him the ball.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Defenses are obviously going to see that Caleb likes to throw to Rome. They're also going to see that Rome is off to a great start. So defenses are obviously going to game plan around that. Mm-hmm. And that's the one thing, is that on that interception, when Caleb locks eyes with Rome, the defender obviously sees that and knows, hey, Caleb's usually going to this guy. He tried to force it in, whatever. But yeah. I think, again, that all comes with time. And I feel like once Caleb starts to notice, hey, if they're taking away Rome, that means somebody else is open.
It has to be.
Right. And whether it's DJ, whether it's Colston, whether it's Cole Kmet, whoever it is,
yeah,
just get them the ball, trust that they're going to make the play, and then we'll be fine.
And I'm not saying that because, DJ Moore's on my fantasy team.
But you are. Well, bro, I drafted Colston Loveland, man. I dropped him by week 3, man. And who knows? I mean, maybe by the end of the year, if things go the way the Bears want, then Loveland is able to be picked up again if he starts being used more,
Well, Cole, I think, got hurt. Did he hurt his back?
Did he really?
Yeah, I thought he's...
Pull it up.
Yeah, I think so.
I thought he got injured. And that's why we saw a little bit more Loveland because Cole got hurt.
He got hurt in the first half, didn't he? Yeah, I remember when he left, he was kind of like limping. But again, when you're at the game, you don't hear any of this stuff
for going on, especially because, your position's a little different than ours.
Yeah, go to Cole Kmet. Yeah, he had one catch, and that was in the first quarter, so that makes sense. Cole Kmet. Questionable.
Yeah.
Yeah, exited Sunday's game after sustaining a back injury.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't like that because Cole Kmet is very important in the run game and in blocking. He's an outstanding blocker. And I think Loveland is a decent blocker too, but that's why it's good to have them both out there, because then Kmet can be your blocker and it allows Loveland to escape more and do more routes. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Next man up if you have to,
Yeah, I was listening to this thing the other night about how they were saying how there's some sort of conspiracy that we ended up taking Loveland over Warren.
We weren't thrilled about it, but then
because I really didn't. I'll be honest with you. I had heard his name brought up once or twice.
Yeah,
but that's it. And I had seen him in the mock drafts, but it really wasn't until the last week or two before the draft that I started seeing Loveland's name.
Yeah,
it started kind of skyrocketing up the board.
Right.
But those are the ones that scare you sometimes a little too.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened with Kevin White, remember?
Oh, my God.
Remember Kevin White? I was like, who's that?
Yeah.
And it was because he had a great
40 time.
Yeah.
He ran a 4.35. He ran a 4.35, and I'm like, oh, this guy looks like he's but then you told me, you're like, pump the brakes, because a lot of these guys have a flash year. And I think it was his senior year at West Virginia.
And then Loveland, I remember at the draft, I kind of was like, hey, you know what?
You did mention him.
Yeah, but I did say, but you know what? But I also thought hey, this is a Ben Johnson pick. Ben Johnson knows his stuff. He probably figures this guy will work better for his offense.
Yeah.
But man, I got to say, I've watched a little bit of Tyler Warren. Man, holy God,
He looks pretty good.
Holy garbanzo beans.
Well, they use him a lot more than we do, than our tight end.
Yeah, pull up Tyler Warren so we could just cry about the numbers he's putting up. I mean, Phil did make a good point earlier in the year that the Colts don't exactly have the best weapons, so that might be why Tyler Warren gets so much more looks. But still, he's definitely proven to be better so far, without a doubt. Wow, 33 catches, 439 yards, 3 touchdowns.
And these are compared to receivers.
I know.
And
I want to know what his tight end ranks.
ranking is.
Wow.
I don't think
he might be number one. He literally might be number one in every category for tight ends.
Wish I would have picked him up in fantasy.
I have him in one league.
Do you really?
Well, actually, McBride might have him. Maybe might have him beat this year.
Yeah, but not bad for a rookie.
No, are you kidding me? It's fantastic. No, he's number one. There it is, Tyler Warren, NFL. Here, go back. He's not in receptions. McBride 47 receptions. But he's got more receiving yards. Wow. Target share 21%. Unbelievable. Ferguson's had a good year too for the Cowboys.
Oh, huge year.
Dude. Yeah, dude. And again, I'm always the type of person that I will, if I say something, we have to give Dak Prescott some love this year.
Oh,
he's balling out, man.
Yes. He's in the MVP category.
He looks great, man.
He's really good.
And the thing is, like, I've always been kind of whatever on him, especially because he doesn't show up for the playoff games. But man, he's good.
Yeah,
he's legit.
He's really good.
He's having a fantastic year. Man, so these are the other tight ends.
Yeah, look at Dallas Goedert, 5 touchdowns. Where was that last year when I had him?
Yeah, Ron's staring at one guy on the list there, Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, my cousin, who's a big Packers fan, loves Kraft.
Yeah,
yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah,
really love that guy.
No, I was.
He's good.
I was telling. Telling Ron that I have a buddy who's a Packers fan, and he wants to get on the podcast for Bears Packers week.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he might be listening to this. So yeah, get ready because I'm definitely gonna make sure there's 2 of us here when he's here, so he gets gang up. Just kidding. Yeah.
So, Gino, I kind of want to give you the floor about the DJ Moore trade situation.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to give you your floor right now. And
Phil, please. I really wish Phil's got to listen to this. I'll make sure he does. I'm going to tell him.
I'm just saying.
I want to see your take on it.
This team still has some holes, and we are stacked at the offensive wide receiver position. We drafted Burden in the second round, and he's a first-round talent. So, in my eyes, and from what I've seen, from the very little that I've seen from Burden, he's got a lot of potential there. DJ Moore with, his issues with his body language, not so much this year, but last year it was really bad. You know what and he's a leader. What was it? He was in his 6th year last year. And with that type of body language, it brought everyone down. Probably didn't help that we were on a really bad losing streak last year.
Right.
But I know this year he's more embraced the role with Ben Johnson, running the ball, doing all these gadget plays, still being a part of this offense, but not as the number 1 X wide receiver like he's used to being. I still think we need help at the pass rush. I would trade DJ Moore in like a 3rd round pick for a premier pass rusher any day of the week. But at this point, I don't think it's a fantasy that I'm living. It's not reality. I don't see a single GM in the NFL really trading for DJ Moore.
Yeah.
Maybe the Patriots, but I heard they're eyeing AJ Brown.
Well, here's
I don't know.
Here's where I would.
That's just where my stance is right now.
And that's the thing is, like, I've always been kind of in the middle on this topic because I definitely see your point and a lot of Bears fans. It's funny enough, Ron and I brought it up. Like, a couple of people didn't like Phil's answer on that, and like actually replied back replied back about it. But my thing is this: like, I do agree with you. Out of all the players that we have that you might be able to trade and get something back, he is one of the guys that makes sense. Now, not only because of the position, but because of some of the salary that you can dump. Because I don't know if you listened to the podcast where we brought up all the salaries and all that.
I remember that.
And you would save a little bit of money if you trade them. But my thinking is that it might make more sense to do it in the offseason. Because I think once the season's over and you see where the offense is, you see what record we finished at and where we are, then you can start looking at next season as a season that we go all in. And then I think that's where that trade might make more sense, right? Like if we in the free agency land certain things, then maybe he's not expendable. Maybe we need him. Or if we feel like we're one piece away and we don't have the money to get that piece, then yeah, to your point, now Burden's one more year in the offense. Now maybe you can go out and sign a different receiver that's a lot less expensive to fill that void and have Burden kind of step up a little bit next year.
Yeah.
And then maybe you could trade it and get some other guys that can help reinforce.
Maybe Zacchaeus at a cheaper deal?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah. I like Zacchaeus. I like Zacchaeus, and I brought this up last week. And again, right away I'll say it just to make sure that people don't get the wrong idea. I'm not comparing Zacchaeus to Keenan Allen in any way, shape, or form.
No.
But Zacchaeus is our Keenan Allen this year when it comes to being Caleb's safety valve. Like, you've been watching any of the games this year. When he's in trouble, when he needs a first down, when he needs a quick play, he's throwing it to Zacchaeus.
Right.
And he was doing that with Keenan Allen last year. Keenan Allen was like the safety valve whenever he needed someone open. And I think part of that is what kind of got DJ Moore in that kind of bad mood and all that. And I think Phil's brought this up too. I don't think it really was more that DJ Moore was being selfish. I think that the play calling last year was not good. And I think if you remember, we brought this up last year. They were running a lot of deep routes. And the problem was Caleb wasn't having enough time for these deep routes to develop.
Right.
And for some reason, Shane Waldron and the other idiots that were running the offense were not going, hey, you know what? Maybe we should just throw a slant. Maybe we should throw a screen. And even though the screens really weren't working last year, they were getting blown up a lot.
Yeah.
We weren't blocking or anything either downfield. That he turned to Keenan Allen a lot because Keenan Allen was the one running the shorter routes and getting open for the short passes. And then DJ Moore started getting upset, which I don't blame him. He's running these routes. He might be getting open downfield, but by the time he's getting open, Caleb's either getting sacked or he's running for his life or he's throwing it to someone else. Whereas I feel like this year, the offensive line, the offense is still a work in progress, but I still think we haven't seen the last of DJ Moore making a good impact on the team. I think we're still going to see it. And then I said, to your point, I think in the off seasons when we can then reevaluate the whole roster and see if any of these trades do make sense.
Well, to just evaluate the roster now, like let's say the season was done with the first round pick, where would you lean more towards, offense or defense?
I would lean more towards the defense and pass rushing.
Yeah.
I think it's hard because a lot of people would probably say, you got Braxton Jones going to be gone for sure next year, and you still have a lot of young guys on the line. You might have some people say to draft a left tackle. But honestly, I've been pretty happy with what I've seen so far.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have pretty much a pretty good amount of depth at the position.
Yeah.
I would personally rather see them either re-sign. If Braxton goes, hey, I'm a backup, and he signs for a really cheap deal, having him as a backup I think would be great. Or letting him walk and then maybe signing another guy just to add depth and then rolling with what you have. Or seeing what's in free agency. But personally, I would probably draft a pass rusher.
Yeah.
Or if you don't plan on signing someone like Tyreek Stevenson, maybe even a corner. Because at the end of the day, Jalen Johnson's coming off an injury.
How old is he now? Can you pull up Jalen Johnson?
I'd say he's like 26, 27.
Because wasn't he a rookie in 2018? No, he was not a rookie.
27, 28?
26.
So he's still young.
Can you bring up his stats?
Yeah, I mean he's one of the best cover corners in the league. Just obviously
So he came in 2020.
Yeah, it's always going to make me it always makes me wonder if he if Jalen Johnson was really like rushed back week 2. You know, it's going to keep making me wonder if he should have just sat out a few more weeks.
Yeah.
And if he would have been, not get hurt. But obviously, you're never really going to know.
And the bad thing is, like, it's these guys are so passionate about football, and they want to be out there, and they want to play, and they want to win. So when you go against, like, the trainers and the medical staff's, like, suggestions, we don't know what happens, in behind the scenes, right? But he could have just argued against the medical staff and, like, I'm good,
Yeah.
I'm good. Like,
Yeah, players want to play.
Players want to play.
Yeah.
This is their way of life. This
Right.
is all they know.
That's all they
And
know.
he's not used to sitting on the bench.
Right.
That's not whenever he's out there balling, making plays.
Exactly.
So he might have in his mind, like, hey, his heart was in the right place. I want to be out there, but he really. Like I said, I don't know what the medical staff said, but maybe they're trying to slow him down a little bit, like Lamar.
Yeah.
How they're being extra careful with Lamar and not have a Jalen Johnson
Well, yeah.
type
Well, that's the thing is
scenario.
and I think what the Ravens thinking too is that they have a pretty easy schedule towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I think that they're banking on him coming back 100% so that they can try to reel off 6, 7, 8 wins in a row. I'm telling you, I don't think the Ravens are done. I think when you have Lamar on your team, like, you still have a chance to make the
Yeah.
playoffs. So
I mean, he is the former league MVP.
Yeah.
Multi.
yeah, and I think it also helped them that the Bengals beat Pittsburgh because
Yeah.
Pittsburgh doesn't look that great.
No.
So I think that division's still winnable for them if they put everything together. So, yeah, I mean, but yeah, going back to the draft thing, I think if we look at it this way, we're probably going to draft, I would say, somewhere in the middle.
So
year, right?
I'm going to say around,
15, 16.
I was going to say 18,
yeah,
maybe
18.
20,
Yeah.
22,
Right.
depending on how the season goes.
And at that point, you probably, and I don't know if there's any mock drafts available yet, but for 2026.
Maybe bring up that Walter Beer Pong,
Walter Football.
Walter Football.
Dude, it's funny. My coworker, that's the guy he follows too.
Yeah?
Walter Football, yeah. I'm wondering, this is so early.
Yeah.
But
when did this article come out, Ron? Just I
no,
wanna
this
know.
one just came out.
Yeah, 15.
Oh, great.
So, like, a week ago.
Because sometimes these come out like in August,
And this
like
was-
before the college football
This was a
season.
week back. I'm wondering what they're thinking the
Bro,
Bears would.
they're raving about that quarterback right now. Everyone's
Fernando
like hyping him
Mendoza?
up. Everyone's hyping him up. I mean, they're undefeated.
Wow.
Yeah, they're hyping that guy up.
Here go. I think the Bears would be
17?
17. There you go. Edge rusher.
Clemson, TJ Parker.
Yeah. I'd like to see him go defense. I'd like to see him go edge. Or like I said, you can never have enough corners, especially if you're not thinking about re-upping Stevenson, because you re-signed Gordon and you re-signed Jalen Johnson.
Yeah.
And then you have Nashawn Wright.
Yeah, you also have Brisker
who
out
looks
there.
Good. But I'm talking about just cornerbacks.
Oh, just corners? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Bears have always been very high on cornerbacks, if you notice in the draft. And those are the picks they've actually hit.
Yeah,
they've hit on.
Because that's the one thing Poles is pretty good at.
Yeah, he's hit on those cornerbacks.
Some of those. But another thing too, I kind of want to follow more of the Eagles' game plan, and they focus really on pass rush. So they actually build teams from the inside out.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the Bears, for whatever
Outside
reason,
in.
go outside in.
Yeah. No, and again, to me though, it's going to be based on the best available and what's going to help the team, right? So if there is a pass rusher available at that time, I think they'll get him.
What about if Jeremiah Love is in there? You taking him, running back?
Man, it's hard not to think about it, but I don't know. I think at this point you have to try to go for a need.
Okay.
Because I think Swift will still be here next year, I
Yeah, he
believe.
is. Yeah.
And Monangai, dude, I'm telling you this. That's the great thing about running backs is you can take one in the 7th round
Right.
and he can become good.
Yeah.
We've seen it happen before.
Yeah.
Wasn't Arian Foster undrafted?
Undrafted
I'm telling you,
from
man.
Tennessee.
Yeah. I mean, you can find running back. So yeah, I'd be probably looking more for edge rusher. Yeah, like I said, I've heard of a couple of these names, but I can't pretend that I'm like, I know many of these names on here.
Is this a big board? What is this?
Mock.
Overall, yeah.
Overall, yeah, it's overall big board. Okay.
Oh, okay. So not like by need.
See, so a guy like, can you scroll a little bit down, Run?
No, and look at that edge rusher. T.J. Parker is 4th
Yeah.
on the board.
Okay,
So you can
so
get
he-
someone like him. That'd be huge.
So I don't know if he'll. Well, we'll see. April 2026 is a long way.
There's a couple of edge rushers here. And you have Keldrick Falk from Auburn.
I can filter it too.
Yeah, I mean, there's some edge rushers there available.
Yeah, because they're a hot commodity. They get taken pretty early.
Yeah, and then hopefully next year we finally have an easy schedule. The schedule makers weren't so easy on us, and it's good to bring up to you too, because Phil and I started this conversation last week. Is we have to also look is that 3-4 weeks ago, I think a lot of people were viewing the Bengals game as an easy win, and I think it's far from the truth now. With Joe
easy.
Flacco there, it's going to be that offense is going to be a little scary, and beyond that, their defense is definitely not good. But lately, they've been coming up with turnovers and making plays. So again, you can't take any team lightly.
And you got that one guy, Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, he's always a game record too.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, look at these games coming up.
a real test for
Yeah.
our offensive line there.
Yeah, and again,
Or tackle.
let's just really quick. I don't think these keys to victory are changing anytime soon. For the Bears, the keys to victory: running the ball, running it effectively, not giving up on the run early, getting the ball out of Caleb's hands early, getting him in a rhythm with some quick completions, and then on the defensive side, being able to stop Derrick Henry. And I think if you're able to stop Derrick Henry and make them one-dimensional, then you're able to get pressure on Lamar Jackson, and maybe you can make a play or two on them.
Right.
If Derrick Henry and them establish the run, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah, it's going to be. It's not going to be good for the Bears.
For the first time in a long time, my prediction, unfortunately, is going to be a Bears loss. If Lamar's fully healthy, I just don't think we can really stop them. And I'm thinking 31-24
Okay.
Ravens.
Oh, so you don't even have them covering.
Yeah, that'd be my.
I got them. I got the Bears covering, but
Okay.
I do got them losing. I got them. I got Ravens 31, Bears 28.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I just think, unfortunately, the takeaways that we've been, producing week in and week out, I think it comes to a stop, and we're going to still hopefully be able to run the ball still, but I just think it's not going to be enough, and Lamar's going to come and be Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
The Bears tend to struggle a lot with dual threat quarterbacks. What was his name? Shane Daniels. He was coming off an injury, but you can still see that dual threat that he posed last week, and he was coming off an injury. Other times he's way more explosive. His arm's a little bit better.
Yeah.
He was coming off a little rusty because of the injury. I think Lamar, man, that he's been healing up. He's going to ball out.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for the Bears to stop him.
No, it's funny. I think I'm going to change mine from 31-24 to 31-23, only because that means we'd kick 3 field goals. Because the way the games have been going, man, you see Moody has 8 field goals in the first 2 games. So when you said 28, I'm like 28. That's probably means that either we scored a lot of touchdowns or we made a couple 2-point conversions.
Do the Bears have a kicking problem? Do we have a controversy
So
here?
this is funny. Look, I know it's hard. I don't know if you could even keep 2 kickers in your roster. Personally, if I'm the Bears, I would. And this is why. I feel like if it's anything 50 yards and in, I really do trust Cairo. He's insanely accurate.
Yeah.
But anything 50 yards and over, it'd be great to have Moody out there to be able to kick them, because even though it's not a guarantee they're going to go in, he gives you obviously a much better chance to hit those deep ones. And he's looked good so far, even inside.
I'm shocked how good he's looked,
Yeah.
because 49ers fans have something else to say about
Right.
that.
And then Eddie Pinheiro looks like Robbie Gold now. and honestly, it would be nice to have Moody for kickoffs.
Yes. Someone
So
who
because
actually
Moody can kick the ball
hit the end
over,
zone.
yeah, right.
Over the end zone, right.
So yeah, I don't even know if it's feasible to keep 2 kickers, but for that reason, it might be good to have somebody who can kick the deep ones and kick the kickoffs.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, I think Ravens are going to win. But yeah, hopefully we're wrong, and we're here next week. You know, shame on me, and then
Yeah.
that'd be phenomenal, and then we'd be 5-2 going to Cincinnati. That'd be pretty freaking awesome.
Right.
So like Phil and I were talking about Bengals. I think no longer is a guaranteed win, especially on the road. That's kind of a scary game. Let's see what happens this week. The Giants, dude. Giants don't look bad.
No, they don't.
Dude, they were kicking the Broncos' ass until the fourth quarter. You got to be very careful in that game. Thankfully, it's at home.
Right. Jackson Dart is a dual threat in my eyes. He's
And Scattaboo. Can't say enough about that guy.
yeah, man.
Dude, that guy's a freaking
Wish the Bears would
battering
have
ram.
drafted him.
That guy's a battering ram.
Yep.
And then you know, Phil actually talked me off the ledge against the Steelers, and especially after seeing the Steelers against the Bengals last week, that's definitely a winnable game.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers threw for 4 touchdowns. I think Caleb. There's no reason why Caleb wouldn't be able to do it too, and that's
Right.
also at home.
Oh, look who's coming November 23rd.
No, I know the Steelers. Yeah,
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
yeah, I know.
Let's see if he still owns us.
Wait, when do we play the Browns? Is that in December? Yeah, December 14th.
Yeah.
Man, that should be an easy win.
And then
'Cause
George,
the Browns basically gave up on punted on the
George
season.
wants to go to the Lions Bears game January 4th. Bring your thermals.
I think he's changed. I think he's changed his mind. I wish we could
don't
call.
think so.
I wish we could call him live right now.
But he's got to wake up first.
Yeah, is he gonna be awake by noon? Well, not by noon. You have to get down there to be up by. He's gonna have to be up like 8 in the
You
morning.
gotta be up there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I somehow feel like that's not gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen.